Hello again, it's Ben. What's doing on the lake? Hey, here's a quick, easy sign. I had a piece of that came off of one of the big basswood. This actually came off the edge of the basswood that I had cut down for the start of the Raven, and it was just a edge piece in grain. And I thought it would make a kind of a neat, rustic, simple welcome to the lake sign, as opposed to a piece of wood just cut straight out of a regular old board and painted like you get from Michael's or something like that. So the first thing I did was draw this on there, and it gets kind of thin over there on the right side, and I left it that way. And then I finished it with a little bit of watercolor and then a quick sign on it. So here's how I put in a quick sign. I wanted it to look rustic, and didn't want the letters. I didn't want the letters to be perfect, because that kind of ruins the whole thing. And this is kind of my tacky style of doing the lettering. So I wanted to do it quick. It's a quick down and dirty video. There is a quick preview of a dragon that I'm messing around with in the middle. When I'm messing with other stuff, I've got a bear that turned into a raccoon. I've got a couple, one video that'll have two little birds, canaries, in that to do still. I have part of the bandsaw review or put together done, and I started editing that yesterday or today, and I found out that I didn't have some of the footage that I wanted, so I'm going to wait till next week to put that in there. Let's see what else do I got going on here. I think that's about it. Oh, and I've got initial start of the Raven, and I might get that up today or tomorrow, and you can see how the Raven's coming along. That's going to be quite a project when it gets to going. So, but here's a quick sign. This is going to go down to Madison into the gallery down there, and it'll probably sell fairly rapidly. But I'm going to outline all the letters, and I'm using a wood burner for that, and that's JPL Enterprises. That's an Ultima wood burner. It's a dual, and that's what I end up with. And I noticed on the middle of the welcome I didn't do the O in the center, and when I'm starting to put the stuff out there, or run around those letters and relief those, high relief, I didn't even go back and burn that. I just went ahead and run it. You can see that right side is kind of thin, and I'm being real careful when I get down to the K and the E on the lake, because I don't want to carve too deep. But give you a quick overview around the world. I'm going to start this. You can do this without the power tools. You can do this without the burning. The burning is considered a stop cut. You can see how the gouge, that's one of those brookstones. If you subscribe or you're watching the channel, you'll notice that I did a review on those brookstone. That's the first carvers that I've ever used, the first chisels and gouges and that sort of thing. And I'm just using it like a pencil, and I can outline the whole thing. So you could actually do this with a knife if you wanted to. And I'm not going to go painfully through this whole thing, but you can see how I use that little hand tool, and those are really, really nice and a pleasure to work with. If you're not trying to do a video and get into production and put some content out there for people to look at, these tools will do you well. The unfortunate thing about filming is you've always got to keep the interest of the folks that are filming. So I only did the T on this with the hand tool, just to show you that it actually could be done. And then I intend to do the background kind of with chisel marks or with marks from the power carver. So I've switched to a micro power carver, and I won't tell you much about that other than it has a saber burr in there. I think that's a green one. They come in different colors, white, yellow, and green. And they're the alternative to the cut saw. I like both of them. I like a cut saw for certain bits, and I have done some videos on that. I'll probably do another one at some point here in the next couple of months and review the difference between the cut saws and the sabers. Those seem to be the two to go to. I know some people use Typhoons. Other people like to use the Dremel, and I'll go through that, but I don't use the Dremel or the Typhoons typically. Typhoon makes a little bit bigger burrs. But I'm going to go around each letter, relief it probably, oh heck, 1/8 of an inch up in there. And this is kind of mindless carving. I was looking at this, and one of the things that really intrigued me about the piece was just the way, well, what you see right there, it kind of came off there, off the slab, off the blank, and it had an interesting grain at the top and whatnot. And I thought a little bit of watercolor in the back of this, and you've got kind of a lake going in the background. So there you see I've done pretty much all the work I'm going to do with it. Now here's the interesting part. You can see where the watercolor took and where it didn't take in there, and it really kind of looks like a rustic lake in the background where the paint has kind of faded away. And that was all done with the power carvers and the sanding on that. If you look closely, you can see my mug sticking in the side there. So that was painted with acrylics around the rest of it, and then I gave it a clear coat, quick shot of a clear coat, and I think it kind of looks neat. I'll put a little hanger on the back of that, and that's something that someone can hang in their entryway or on the front of their house or something like that. But it's kind of neat how the watercolor took in certain portions of that wood, and then in other parts didn't. And that's kind of like a watercolor painting. A lot of times it's an accident on where that pigment decides to settle in that. And some of you have asked to see some of the watercolors. I may get around to filming a couple of those one of these days. But hey, here's a bonus, and I'm going to start adding this into some of the videos, I think. Here's a dragon. I get bored messing around with the stuff that I'm supposed to be filming, and sometimes I get a wild hair and I start carving something weird. So here's a dragon head. I've got the body started and put the head on the body. But the eyes are set in this guy, and I'm getting those. The ears are not glued in, but they will be. And then he'll get some horns and various different stuff. So there's a preview of an upcoming video, and I'll do the full build on the dragon. I've got him attached to a head at this point, and you'll see that in one of the future videos. So like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Thanks a lot. This has been Ben with Studio on the Lake.